appreciate you attending this webinar. This is a members-only webinar, and so we appreciate your membership. We appreciate the fact that you're spending an hour with Jason Levin today, and we will get started in about 1 minute. Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. Once again, this is Tim Termone. I'm the Associate Executive Director from the Alumni Association at the University of Maryland. We appreciate you attending this webinar. This is a members-only exclusive event, so we appreciate your membership and look forward to hearing what Jason Levin has to say over the course of the next 45 minutes to an hour. I'm going to read his bio, and then I'm going to turn over the reins to Jason. Jason Levin founded Ready, Set, Launch, LLC after a career in brand management at Unilever, consulting at Accenture, and employer branding at Vault.com. Career and business coaching is his passion, and he guides executives and mid-career professionals of all backgrounds through career transitions, even into retirement. Jason works with his clients to land that next job, promotion, career change, entrepreneurial venture, or transition into retirement. He enjoys speaking on and moderating panels and presenting career development seminars and webinars at staff retreats, conferences, and training sessions. Jason has appeared on WTTG Fox 5 and CTV News and has been quoted in the Wall Street Journal, Money, Fortune, and MarketWatch on career and business-related topics. He received his MBA from Georgetown's McDonough School of Business and is married to a lovely redheaded attorney and has 2 redheaded boys. Thank you for listening once again. Thank you for being a member. And with that, I'll turn the presentation over to Mr. Jason Levin. Thank you.
Thank you, Tim. Thanks so much. It's really great to be here. I want to welcome everybody to the webinar. It's always exciting to be with the TERP community. Tim, if you could launch the poll questions so we can see who's on the line.
Sure. So I have 3 different poll questions that I'm going to be asking you. The first question is, how many years of experience do you have? 0 to 5, 6 to 10, 11 to 15, 16 to 20, or more than 20? Please cast your vote. Okay. It looks like everyone that's responded has more than 20 years of experience. That's very interesting, but an interesting way to start out this poll.
Outstanding.
All right, our next one is, are you satisfied with your personal brand? Yes, no, or I am not sure what my personal brand is. Please vote now. All right, so we have everyone has voted, it looks like, and again, 100%, I am not sure what my personal brand is.
Come to the right place.
Awesome, and then one last question. I want to improve my personal brand to, and I apologize for the spelling error, achieve a promotion at work, make a career change, raise my profile in my industry and field, start, grow my practice or small business. Please vote now. All right, it looks like we have a 50-50 split between raise my profile in my industry and field and start, grow my practice or small business.
Outstanding. That's great. Thank you, Tim. Thank you so much. All righty, so with that in mind, I first want to thank everybody for being here, and secondly, there were several of you that had answered some of the pre-questions I had during this webinar. And so I wanted to kick things off with showing some of the great comments and depth of comments that came in advance of this webinar. I want to thank you for that, because it really helped hone and focus some of the topics that I was going to talk about, as well as what we're going to be overviewing today. So here are a couple of quotes. One of you said, "How can I become better at shaping others' perceptions of me?" Another Terp said, "People are often better at identifying opportunities and giving advice to others. And as I look to develop and advance, I need to get better at evaluating myself. I hope this webinar will give me tips so I can start the process in a strategic way." And finally, "I work for myself. I'd like to learn how to maintain and improve my personal brand while improving boundaries. My time is extraordinarily valuable, so I would also like to learn about maintaining and improving my brand without a huge investment in time." So just a little bit more background on me and why I do what I do. In a lot of ways, 1990 changed everything for my two younger brothers and myself when we were growing up with my parents in northern New Jersey. My father lost the only job that he ever had during that recession, and my younger brothers and I became very aware of the unpleasantness and uncertainty that comes with unemployment. We started shopping in food pantries, and my brothers and I went on the school's free lunch program. I needed fee waivers to apply to college, and so in many ways, I became the wackiest teenager you probably ever met, because I wanted to know why. Why is it that people got jobs? Why do people lose jobs? Why do people get promoted and not? And so I went on a fact-finding mission. All the families that I was babysitting for, doing odd jobs for, I wanted to know about their careers. In college, if we were friends, I was helping you mock interview and helping you with your job search. And so while I have no HR background whatsoever, I've always been part of the professional development teams and recruiting teams in the organizations I worked for, because I cared deeply about the talent that was coming in and how were we evaluating that talent, and when they did come in, how could we help grow and develop those people so that they would fit into the culture and be successful. So you could really say that in a lot of ways, mentoring, professional and business development, recruiting and hiring have always been part of my core interests, and a main reason why I went out on my own with Ready, Set, Launch LLC. So we're going to cover three basic areas. We're going to first talk about consumer brand and what that actually means. We're going to translate consumer brand to personal brand, and then we're going to talk about how you can use your personal brand to advance. And so as we go along, I'll make sure to be focusing on how those that are interested in starting or growing their own practice or small business, as well as raising your profile in your industry or in your field. So the beginning part is going to sound a little bit like a marketing 101 lesson, but I think it's foundationally very, very important. So we are surrounded by brands all the time. And if you take any marketing class, the marketing professors will usually begin with the classic or the textbook definition of a brand, which is a promise of a service or an experience. And so as brand managers that are managing these brands, they're constantly trying to better understand how to better communicate and deliver these promises. So how AT&T delivers reliable service or not, or how Volvo delivers safe cars as it continues to brand itself in that fashion, or how KPMG could deliver a qualified audit, or one of my favorites growing up in New Jersey, how M&Ms deliver the very important candies that melt in your mouth and not in your hands. And so in a lot of ways, brands are very important to those that are consuming them. And so brand managers also understand that it's about the ability to deliver perceived value to your consumer. Your consumer is always right. Your consumer has their own preferences. Your consumer has their own taste buds. And so the way that perceived value is delivered, it's delivered in two ways. One through functional benefits and one through emotional benefits. So functional benefits could be the warmth of a jacket or a drink quenching your thirst. But the emotional benefits then are around how you feel about the brand, how you identify with the brand. So that jacket that's giving you warmth, is it an Under Armour jacket? Is it a Nike jacket? Is it an LL Bean jacket? What drink are you taking part in? Is it an Honest Tea? Is it a Green Mountain Coffee? Is it some type of vitamin water? And so in a lot of ways, brand managers are always trying to better understand the relationship between functional benefits and emotional benefits as they reach out to their consumers. And so market research is a very important part of understanding how you deliver this promise, so that at the end of the day, marketers can understand what their specific consumers are looking for. And at the end of the day also, best-in-class brands are unique and authentic. They are real, and they speak just like an individual speaks. And so that when a person connects with a brand, expectation and experience truly come together to build trust and loyalty. And so as a marketer, when you think about loyalty and getting your loyal followers, there's something known as the ATR framework, which I think is quite powerful and quite useful as you start to think about how loyal customers and loyal consumers come to your brand. So the A in ATR is awareness. Are you aware of this brand? What is it that you think about when you think about this brand? Is it within the top of your mind? And so the highest form of awareness is unaided awareness. So if I were to ask another poll question on name 3 cereal brands, and if you were to come back to me and say, okay, the first 3 cereal brands that I can think of are Pebbles, Mini Wheats, and Special K. That is unaided awareness. That's the highest form of awareness. I've asked you what comes off the top of your head, and you've mentioned them. And I could do a further dive on what you think about them and why you picked them, but at the end of the day, that's the highest form of awareness, unaided awareness. Then there's aided awareness, where I could say, all right, you've picked those 3, but have you heard of Kashi? Have you heard of Rice Krispies? And if you say yes, then I've prompted you, but it's still within your consideration set. And in a lot of ways, brands are always trying to get to that highest form of awareness, which is unaided awareness. So once a brand is in your consideration set as you're making your evaluations, then they're always trying to get you to trial, to get the brand into your hands, to engage the brand, whether it's a brand you're already using and they're coming out with a new variation, or it's a brand new brand and they want you to be thinking about it as you're making your purchase decisions. And so I could imagine that many of you in the past month have gone through some type of trial activity. If you've gone shopping in a BJ's or a Costco or a Target where they are doing sampling and getting the brand into your hands, try this. If you've gone to some kind of concert or sporting event, outside the lines of getting into those events, there's probably people giving you things. Those are trial activities. Getting you to either re-engage with current brands that you know or new brands, and to say, okay, wait a minute, is this something that I like? Is this something I find interesting? And then after trial comes repurchase. I love the brand. I am loyal to the brand. This is something that I'm going to be buying again and again and again. And that loyalty comes from aligning messaging, expectation, and experience. And so many times marketers care most about its most loyal customers, because they're the ones who buy more, they're the ones who tell their friends. Recognize also that brands sometimes sell directly, but more often than not, they're through some type of channel. Now this is 2015, and so channels are both digital and physical. and some even physical stores have digital options. And so as a retailer, they're always trying to win your trip. So when I was working at Unilever and I was working with my shopper marketing counterparts, there was always the strategies based on whatever your trip missions were. And there could be multiple types of reasons why you are looking to have a reason to buy something. So it could be a fill-in or a quick trip where you buy toothpaste and a stick of gum and a CVS. It could be a stock-up trip where you're going to Target and fill up your pantry. A specialty trip where you're buying a car and you're doing a great deal of evaluation in advance before you go and make that purchase. Or it could be a browsing trip where shopping is fun, shopping is entertainment, shopping is something that you enjoy doing and evaluating. And so in a lot of ways, as you look at these trip missions, the act of shopping is never ending. And so one needs to be top of mind at all times and making sure that the brands that you want to be purchasing are also going to the right channels. So the strategy of what are the shopper profiles of the retailers, and does your brand fit within that channel and the specific types of trip missions that your brand has. I want to give a quick case on a well-known brand that has a very good following and yet lost its way because it ignored its loyal followers. I don't know about you, but in my family, and even today, Tropicana orange juice has been part of many of the things that start my day. And so this is what the packaging looked like back in 2009. You had the orange in the straw, the classic carton. And if you've been following the orange juice category, in the past 15 years, people are drinking less and less juice. They're concerned about calories, they're concerned about nutrition. Also, there's less time for breakfast. And so in 2009, Tropicana said, you know what, let's make a change. We're not going to change the juice because we know everybody likes that, but let's refresh the packaging so that we can bring some new news to the marketplace. And so what they did was they came up with the Squeeze campaign. Now the Squeeze campaign had an emotional benefit of families coming together and hugging and being around each other and showing love. And the functional benefit was what comes out of an orange, but a glass of juice. Well, this is what the response was when Tropicana came out with this campaign. Over a 6-week period on social media, its loyal followers said the following: this packaging is ugly. This packaging is stupid. This packaging is bargain store brand. One person even said, don't you understand the people that buy Tropicana orange juice? And so because its loyal followers were so against this new packaging, after 6 weeks, they went back to their original. And they apologized. And if we remember decades ago when New Coke had come out and then retracted, well, Tropicana had its own version of New Coke. The agency that helped create the package even had to call a press conference to apologize. But recognize this, that even though Tropicana had made a misstep, they didn't stop listening to their loyal followers. They were testing another type of packaging in their Trop 50 line, which had less calories, which was transparent. And so 2 years later, they came out with a transparent packaging with a greater focus on the orange and the straw. They recognized that that's how its loyal followers recognized them, was the orange and the straw. And as Tropicana continued to evolve, you can even see today Tropicana in particular cities with the orange and straw coming out, and them playing on the fact of where you live and inserting the orange for the heart. And so Tropicana recognized it misstepped, but once it recognized what its brand was in the marketplace, the orange and the straw, they jumped on it and continued to work with it to engage its loyal followers. So now let's take the consumer marketing concepts and make you the brand. I would recommend for everybody on the line, your first bit of homework, you don't engage with a coach unless you're ready to get homework, that you read Tom Peters' Brand Called You article. It was written in Fast Company in 1997. He is the founder of Personal Brand. And I believe that his article, even written back then, is just as relevant as it was in 1997 as it is today. And so I took a quick snippet, which I think is relevant for this conversation. Starting today, you are a brand. You're every bit as much a brand as Nike, Coke, Pepsi, or The Body Shop. To start thinking like your own favorite brand manager, ask yourself the same question. What is it that my product or service does that makes it different? And having worked on Dove soaps and Dove creams as a brand manager, I will be your favorite brand manager. And thinking about your own personal brand, I think there's 4 elements of personal brand that will help you frame how you think about yourself, since everybody on the line was not sure about their own personal brand. So taking consumer brand to your brand, everybody here has emotional and functional benefits, and you also have your own packaging and consumers and shoppers. So your attitude, your reliability, your image is an important piece to your brand. Your skill set and your relationships, your achievements and your accomplishments are important pieces to your personal brand. How you communicate on a day-to-day basis with your customers, with your peers, with your vendors, with your superiors, the nonverbals that you use, your gestures, your confidence, how you're perceived, your presence, and how you present information. And then as you start to think about trip missions, what type of trip missions are people coming to you for? Daily tasks, cross-functional projects, strategic projects, executive level special projects. So the reasons why consumers and shoppers are coming to you are to help solve their problems. What is the level of that? And that can also help you better understand why and how the strength of your personal brand is. I was working with a counsel at a law firm, and he completely underestimated his own skill set and expertise. And it wasn't until we started talking about these 4 elements that he started to recognize how the quality of his work was perceived, and actually raised his confidence, and actually helped him think about the types of people he wanted to engage with so that he could get better trip missions and better types of work. And he was actually able to get on some higher level projects that raised his profile in the organization. So based on these 4 elements, let's go out and define your brand. And brand definition begins with feedback. Now this, for many on the line with 20 plus years of experience, feedback is nothing new. But I want to talk about how you can use feedback more systematically to evolve and further define your personal brand. Because what it does is it shows your opportunity to show coachability, and going even beyond 360 reviews. And when I talk with executives all the time on this subject, is that too often people, when they're getting reviewed in a 360, will pick people that like them. And more often than not, the executives I'm talking with will want some people included in your reviews that actually don't like you. And it shows a level of understanding that, okay, you may not get along, they'll have things to say. There might be some nuggets you can definitely learn from, but at the very least, include them in the process. And also shows some curiosity on how you're perceived. And just as marketers are doing market intelligence in the marketplace about their brands, feedback is your market intelligence on current perceptions of you and how you're perceived in the marketplace. What are your strengths and weaknesses, and what priority areas do you need to improve upon to go in the direction that you want to go in? Because there are many versions of you, and how you see yourself in the mirror might be different than how others see you. And so let's say you get your feedback. Now what? Well, I think it's important, and this is something that I find with mid-career professionals and executives. It's like, okay, I got my feedback, I'm done. The real important piece is to make it a continuous loop. So pick a date with your supervisors to check in and review on your areas to improve. You want to be adding these types of things that you need to improve on a daily and weekly basis, so that you can, just as you've gotten into one place with your personal brand, you can be using your limited time and energy to go in a new direction, and to be very tactical and strategic on how you evolve these perceptions of you. And it doesn't hurt to get other colleagues to gauge how you're doing, so that you can continually keep these feedback lines open. And in a lot of ways, shaping perceptions of you, I'm a big fan of using this customer needs chart, where you take the people that you're interacting the most with, and you're gauging their values and work style and what they care about. And then start to reflect on what are some of the questions you can be asking them to better get an understanding of what they really value. And then, are there others that you can get more data points from, so that you truly understand the audience and the people that you're talking to, whether it's your customers and vendors in your small business, or the industry that you're trying to raise your profile in. And then, what are the things that you can be doing to strategically shape perceptions and align your work style with theirs? And so all managing your personal brand becomes is, what do you think of yourself? What are your colleagues, superiors, and it could be customers, it could be vendors, think of you, and then minding the gap. And continually minding the gap so that you are open and honest to the feedback that you're getting, and taking in what you think you need, so that you can then go to the marketplace, whatever that marketplace looks like, whether it's inside your organization or outside, and manage the gaps that you have in your personal brand. And so then it becomes a function of getting out there and being known and communicating your brand. So you've defined your brand, you start to understand what your baseline is, you understand what the gaps are, and then what are the things that you want to be known for, what are you known for now, and then how can we use ATR, awareness, trial, and repurchase, for your own personal brand as you're looking to raise your profile in your industry and grow or start your small business. Becomes a function of really speaking the language of your consumers. No different than taking out your passport and going to a new country. It's not just language, but it's also the social norms around how your customers, your consumers, your colleagues, your dotted line reports, your executives are interacting with you, so that you can be a student of this destination. And that you want to communicate on a consistent basis the brand that you want to project out, both in your organization and in your industry. And a great way to raise your profile within industry is pick the industry newsletters and conferences that are most relevant to you and how you want to raise your profile, and find ways to embed yourself in those things that those professionals and executives are reaching out to for guidance and advice. And so depending on what your natural skill set is, are you a great writer, then go out and write some articles for a newsletter. If you're not that great of a presenter, then maybe you can get on a panel where you can be doing a lot more Q&A and you don't have to present as much. So at the end of the day, you want to be very strategic on how you think about getting your brand out in the marketplace. And even internally within your own organization, you can be raising your profile of your own brand. I was working with a consulting executive who was very focused on his consumer and delivering his work. The problem is that the feedback he was getting was that nobody knew what he did. And so we needed to block time on a weekly basis so that he was engaging the important people in his practice group, so that they were aware of what he was doing, and even coming up with ways to come up with presentations and other communication tools so everybody was in the loop on what he was working on. And that actually helped him sell more work internally to other partners that were actually growing their businesses and recognized the great work that he was doing. So begin with analog. Begin with the strategy. Begin where what your goals are. And then you can certainly use social media to amplify those things that you want to be projecting out in the marketplace. Don't need to do a full deep dive on LinkedIn. Everybody should be on there. What I can say to you is some things that you need to be thinking about LinkedIn. And you're talking to somebody that joined LinkedIn in January of 2004. I was one of the first 150,000 to join LinkedIn. I think there's some basic tenets that everybody should have on their LinkedIn profile. First, you should have a professional headshot. It should not be a shot with you and your cats and dogs, unless you're a veterinarian. It should be a professional headshot. You can go into your settings and create your own URL that changes the auto-generated URL to one that has your name or a version of your name. It looks cleaner. Your executive summary, which is the first thing that people should see, has 2,000 characters. And you actually can be writing a very nice biography, a couple of paragraphs about yourself, what you do. If you have separate website links, you should be embedding those in your summary and in your profile. A lot of the search engine optimization around LinkedIn actually goes to how many links you're embedding in your profile. And so I'm a big fan of, if somebody were to Google you and find all the links about you, you can actually upload those into your LinkedIn profile and actually make it a lot easier for people to understand you and engage with you. And you also get the search engine benefit as well. Big fan of recommendations. What I would say to you is that the way the new profile looks is that the first two recommendations show up per work experience, so make sure they're the strongest. Endorsements, at the end of the day, and I get this all the time, people endorse me even though they've never worked with me. What I think is important here is take the 5 things that you want to be endorsed for and make sure they're at the top. So you're probably getting endorsed for a whole host of things. You can actually reorder your endorsements so that it can show the things that are most important when people are evaluating you for an industry speech or evaluating you and whether you want to work with you and hire you for your small business. You can be using other social tools to raise your profile, but at the end of the day, I think what's important here is how is it that your customers and consumers make decisions? If it is more social media, then go in that direction. If it's more analog, then go in that direction. And I think as you do more market research, you'll start to better understand how people are picked and how people are selected. No doubt that you are talking about yourself, but the great thing also is that brands also have ambassadors, and so do you. And depending on what your goals are and where it is that you want to go, you have a whole host of people that enjoy you, love your work, respect what you're doing, and you want to keep those people close. Because as you are evolving where you want to go and talking about where you want to go, these ambassadors can be very important to you as you're looking to raise your profile in your industry or field to get you on that conference so that you can get in front of people and talk about all the great things that you do, or sell the work that you're doing in your small business. So be very strategic in how you engage your ambassadors. And it's amazing to me that I was working with someone that was running their own business, and they had all these people that had loved her work, but she was so busy actually running her business, she didn't have time to engage her ambassadors. And so what we were able to do is find chunks of time in her week so that she was able to update some key people and keep them abreast of all the things that she was doing. And actually, over a 6-month period, was starting to get new lines of work, all because she was just keeping in touch with the people that actually liked her and respected her work. So for those that are looking to manage their brand for their next step, there are many things that you can be doing. Since many people on the line are more interested in raising your profile in your field or growing your small business, I'm going to skip over this. As far as lateral moves and career changes, again, not a lot of you were interested in that, but I would say that the fundamental piece here is really being thoughtful and having a longer timeline so that you can be very strategic as you think about how to make that change. The real piece here, I think, for those on the line that are looking to raise the profile in their field or start or grow their practice is really around what are your priorities. What are your priorities? What are the things that you really want to do in the next 12 to 18 months? And what do your current customers value about your work? Not all customers are created equal. Your best customers love your work. They will pay you the market rate that you want to be paid and come back for more and tell others. As you're looking to raise your profile, can you be found where your customers are looking? And so looking at the entire portfolio of ways that people are engaging with you. And the best way to get new customers is actually through your current customers. I helped a nonprofit executive who was about to retire, and he couldn't work for anybody else. He wanted to finally decided that the only way he was going to be able to do what he wanted to do was actually go out on his own. And what he started to recognize in the services that he was about to provide, that there were many ways that he could be found where he could actually be giving talks to on a more systematic way. And so we came up with a schedule for him that would allow for him to use his speaking ability to get in front of these customers, and some of them were referrers as well. Because when you start to think about customers, there's also the referrer, who is somebody that is being consulted by the customer as they're looking to make their purchase decisions. So personal brand can be very, very important as you are looking to grow your practice, start your business, and at the end of the day, whether you're looking to raise your profile in your industry or start or grow your business, I'm a huge fan of doing things outside of your day job. Number one for me is board service. I'm always pushing my current clients to serve on nonprofit boards, trade boards, things that you're interested in, because if you're not interested in it, then it's not worth your time. But it's another way to raise your profile, engage with people that you otherwise would not engage with, and actually find fulfillment outside of your day job. So whether it's with a trade association, a professional association, or a nonprofit board, I highly recommend everybody on the line be thoughtful about that. And so you start to think to yourself, okay, what are these organizations? What are the top 3 or 4 that are in my on my radar? And then within my own brand ambassadors, who can help get an introduction on my behalf so that I can start talking to these organizations? Because I don't have to tell you that boards can be very quiet on how they recruit new members. And having sat on nonprofit boards and having sat on the nominations committee, the first thing that the board talks about when they say they want to recruit new members is, okay, who do we know? And so as you're looking to grow your business or raise your profile, begin with your own needs, begin with your own thoughts on what's important to you, engage ambassadors, and start to go after your targets in a very meaningful way that can really help you get on these organizations, and it can be a real great value add to your own personal brand. So in addition to your own advancement, and since we have people on the line that have 20+ years of experience, adding executive presence to your brand or evolving that is extremely important. There was a study done by the Center for Talent Innovation on what executive presence means to your ability to move ahead, and 26% said it was something that was very important. executive presence, unlike personal brand, which has been around for several decades, executive presence, I think the concept has been around for the last 5 or 7 years. Some talk about leadership presence, but the whole notion of presence is very important. In the literature that I've seen, I think there's 3 basic buckets of executive presence. The first is executive packaging. The second is predicting behavior and reading people. And the third is getting people's attention and keeping it. And that can be quite useful for those on the line that are looking to raise their profile or grow their businesses. So within the executive packaging piece, or before I go to that, I want to let everybody know that you don't have to be an executive to have executive presence. Everybody can have a form of executive presence in their in how they approach their work and how they approach their personal brand. So on the executive packaging piece, regardless if you're working from home, if you're working in a relaxed environment, there is an appearance that executives have. Even if you're in a startup where everybody's in jeans, you can still be neat and professional even in a casual environment. One thing I thought was interesting when I was talking with an executive in marketing who said, I know this sounds awful, but if I see someone in expensive attire and they have a cheap watch, I immediately look for other gaps in the person's character, talent, and approach. And so just look at yourself and look at how others are wearing themselves and how they're communicating themselves, and make sure that you're just in alignment with those expectations. Predicting behavior and reading people, I think, is extremely important, because as you become more observant of those that are in the room that you're engaging with, then you're able to anticipate their thinking and then handling their objections, their why they're coming at you in a way that's not concurrent with your thinking. How to disagree with a smile, how to make sure people feel heard is extremely important so that you can come to consensus, come to agreement. One executive I was working with talked about, I make decisions with incomplete information, understanding other executive habits as invaluable data points as I'm going through my day. And then the keeping attention piece. So you understand what your personal brand is, you understand what the message can be, and then it's about defining that message and being able to stay on it. Recognizing others, celebrating success, being relentlessly positive, and then what's the story here? How can you do a better job of coming up with anecdotes that show your expertise and that allows for you to get all this technical information that would otherwise take a half an hour into a couple of minutes. One CFO of an insurance company I was working with said, when I'm making a presentation to the leadership team, they want to know the story behind the numbers, and they want me to get to the point quickly. So some parting thoughts. Your internal and external consumers are always shopping. Be top of mind when they want to buy. And there are many ways that your buyers will be engaging you. And so that A in awareness, you always want to be aware to your best consumers. And how is it that you can further engage those potential new shoppers and bring them into your sphere. Manage, evolve your personal brand by seeking consistent feedback. That never ends. How am I doing? How are things going? What would you like to see more from me? What would you like to see less from me? And even if it's somebody that you don't like, there can be nuggets of information that can be useful. And so don't discard the haters because at the end of the day, they might provide something to you that people that actually like your work would never say. Anticipate your consumer needs and speak their language. A very important piece to executive presence. And package your brand consistently in emails, meetings, conference calls, webinars, and presentations. That is the delivery of a consistent promise, the delivery of how you approach things, and how you deliver so that people feel good about you. They enjoy not only the functional benefits, your technical expertise, but also the emotional benefits. You're easy to work with. They like you. They're going to tell you more things because of the authenticity, the consistency that you are bringing to your work. And above all, be yourself, be your authentic self. I can't say that enough. Always inspired by the great Stuart Smiley from Saturday Night Live. You're good enough, you're smart enough, gosh darn it, people like you. Feel free to keep in touch. That's my website, readysetlaunch.net. You can follow me on Twitter at Jason Careers. Feel free to consider me as a presenter and reach out to me with your career or business challenges. That's my email address, and I'll be more than happy to take questions from Tim.
Thank you, Jason. Appreciate it. So we do have a few questions for you. I'm going to try and clump them together as best I can. But question number one is, why is personal branding more important today than it was 5 years ago?
You know, it's a fascinating question. You know, some say it's the advent of social media and technology. That is a piece to this. What I would say now is there is so many ways to get information about people. Personal branding is about trust. It's about authenticity. And so it's so hard to cut through the clutter that having a strong personal brand, and even the concept of personal brand, has made it so that people are going to be looking at you and evaluating you in a whole host of ways. I would also say that since 2008 and the recession, hiring as well as purchase decisions take longer. There is a greater amount of risk aversion in making those decisions. And so the strength of your personal brand also matters more because people are less forgiving of mistakes. And so being right the first time matters a lot. And so that's the evolution and the importance of personal brand in 2015.
Great. I have two questions that are fairly similar. The first one, I'll read them both. What's the best way to manage my online reputation? And then what is the number one action I should take to improve my online brand?
So the first thing is you should have a Google alert on your name, and you should be also Googling yourself to see if there are other versions of you. And so, for example, there are Jason Levins in Chicago, in Los Angeles, in Seattle. There's actually a Tea Party supporter, or hater, I'm sorry, that's also a Jason Levin. And so recognizing that there are other people like you. And so the important piece here, and the thing that you need to be doing, is to make sure that when people are Googling you, that you're using the right word associations to the brand that you want to be projecting out in the marketplace. And so if you can own your own website with your name, great. If you can be adding the language that you want to be using in your LinkedIn profile, on Facebook, on your social tools. So that's what I would say to understand your profile, as well as the first things that you can be doing to raise your profile online.
Great. One more question. Why are most people such bashful self-marketers?
You know, I think that, it's funny because I was talking to a client about this who was, I don't want to tell anybody, everybody should just come to me, I'm good, I know that I'm good. At the end of the day, selling is not a dirty word because of the web and because it's 2015, selling is actually solving people's problems. So one of my favorite books, and I highly recommend it, Daniel Pink, a local author, he wrote To Sell is Human. And one of the things he talks about in his book is the advent of information asymmetries. So 25 years ago, the information in buying a car was always with the person that was selling you the car. Now in 2015, if you wanted to buy a car in Michigan, you know exactly what the specs were, how much the dealer bought it for, and what you actually should be paying for it. And so what you can be doing in selling is the ability to be consultative. And so, yes, there are plenty of people out there that are unabashed self-marketers, and they're just trying to find every new way to raise their profile. That's fine. You know, depending on your own voice and what personal brand you want to be communicating in the marketplace, you don't have to be an unabashed self-marketer. You can be a strategic or a thoughtful self-marketer. Because again, self-marketing goes back to the A in awareness. You want to be generating unaided awareness to the customers and consumers that are in a place to buy your services. And so some people take that, just like as in anything in life, to the nth degree. I don't think that everybody on the line, depending on what they want to do, should be going everywhere and anywhere to be that unabashed self-marketer. I think you can be more thoughtful and strategic on how you raise awareness of yourself and your services. Any other questions, Tim? Can't hear you.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah, I can hear you now.
It's amazing when you push the unmute button what happens. So what I was saying, if you could go back to your contact information screen one more time, so if people didn't have time to write down your information, that would be great.
Sure.
And if you have any parting thoughts for everybody, that's great. And otherwise we'll send them along the way on their way.
So I guess my biggest parting thought to everybody on the line is that get started. If you have ideas in mind, or if you have goals in mind on whether you want to raise your profile in your industry or field, or grow your small practice or your small business, what I say to you is go out and pick 2 or 3 people that you engage with that are either customers of you or fit within your own goals, and take them out to coffee, take them out to lunch, have a conversation with them, get on the phone with them, engage in this process. So if you do one thing, and one thing only, is just start. You have all these ideas, start, and the second thing is block time. So even if you give this idea 30 minutes a week, you're in a better place than you were before having seen this webinar. So get started, reach out, engage, and begin this dialogue so that you can get a better understanding of your own personal brand and evolve it in the place so that you can raise your profile, grow your business, or whatever it is that you're looking to do. So best of luck to everybody. Just get started.
Thank you, Jason, and thank you everybody for attending. Have a great day.